Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Bryce with BS Media, and today we're going to be talking about the MTX Terminator6S component speakers. These are two 6.5-inch component speakers along with some tweeters. We're going to be doing an unboxing, but it won't be a traditional unboxing because I had actually already opened the box by the time I did record it. So it'll be more of what's in the box, and then we're going to do a short review, and then I'll do a 45-second demonstration at the end, so hopefully you guys can kind of pick up on how good the quality of the speakers is through the phone capture, hopefully. That's always the plan, right? All right, guys, before we get into what's in the box, if you guys have never been to my channel before, just like to say welcome. If you like home theater, music, video games, tutorials, and reviews just like this one, make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so we can get to know each other a little bit more. With that being said, guys, let's take a peek at what's inside the box. All right, guys, so inside the box, we have two 6.5-inch woofers, two tweeters, two 12-inch tweeter wires with inline crossovers, two 6-inch woofer wires, two woofer grills, two flush mount tweeter housings, two surface mount tweeter housings, two tweeter flush mounting clips, four 1-inch flathead screws, 8 1-inch panhead screws, 10-speed clips, and a specification/manual. Now, I did get mine from Crushfield, so it came with some of the custom mounting brackets that are made to fit different cars, or specific cars, I should say. And then I also got the Metra wire harnesses, so they will actually clip into your factory mounting clips, or speaker clips, I should say. And so that way you don't have to do any kind of splicing, or it does limit it down. And so that did come in handy. But with that being said, that's all that's within the box. So we're now going to move on to the review, and I'll give you my thoughts. All right, guys, so that was everything within the box. So let's jump into this review now. So I do have a 2020 Toyota Avalon, and these speakers obviously are going to be very old, but I'm going to be comparing my OEM speakers to these Terminator speakers. And I will say, in terms of size itself, I will say they look about the same, honestly. Maybe the magnet's a little bit bigger on the Terminator, but there's honestly not a whole lot of difference as far as the aesthetic of these. Obviously they're going to be nice and red compared to just the plain black with old foam over your original speakers that'll be in there. But as far as that goes, not a whole lot of much difference in size, but these can handle much more power than my original ones could. My original speakers can only do 20, and I believe these can do 45 each. So it can handle more power, and it doesn't need more power. So that is a good thing. It can handle more power, but my head unit itself can only do 85 watts per 4 channels. So it's kind of, it didn't do much for me there. The power seems about the same, honestly. I will say even the bass doesn't sound much better. Maybe it's something to do with that power. Maybe it's just these speakers are, they're on the cheaper side, honestly. They're not super expensive or anything like that. So I wasn't expecting a whole lot out of them. But maybe it's just my head unit, honestly. I think that's what it might come down to. But there was also a problem a little bit with the installation itself too, and I'll get into that here in a little bit. But maybe that could have played a part in it. I honestly don't know. And now I will say where these speakers do shine is the tweeters. The tweeters sound very high clarity and high quality compared to my OEM speakers. So I'm very impressed with that. The voices that come through those speakers sound very crisp, and it sounds really good, especially with any kind of singing, even hip hop, any kind of music you're going to be listening to. It should sound much better than your OEM unless you already had some high quality speakers in your in the original car itself. So mine didn't. It was just some basic speakers that are in there, so it sounded pretty good to me. While I am on the subject of tweeters, make sure you do wire in the capacitors that do come with it in the pack, so that way you don't blow out those speakers. So I'm just giving a heads up to anybody who is getting some new speakers. Don't forget to do that. Now, I will say installation, It was a little bit of a hassle for me just because I was told by Crutchfield that the mounting brackets they supply and the wire harnesses, it would fit perfectly into my car. That was honestly not the case. I actually had to make an extra hole, drill a hole into my door to make it where they fit. But in the process, it also leaves about, I'd say, that much of a gap on each side of the speaker itself. So it's not fully housed in there. There's a little bit of space in there. And I think that might be an issue a little bit with the bass too, because it's not fully sealed into the door. So maybe some of that sound is kind of escaping and it's not making it really thump in there. But I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, it could just be the speakers don't, have a lot of bass, because these are a little bit cheaper speakers. They're nothing high quality or super fancy out there. There is a lot of other speakers out there. So maybe that's all it is. But I will highly recommend ordering from Crutchfield just in general, because if something happens, something messes up, or you just want to have, that custom bracket and the speaker harnesses, they give you all that stuff for free, and they are really good with their customer service. So if you have any kind of issues, you can always get a return. It's always hassle-free. They may even give you a credit towards something more expensive. I've had that kind of deal happen before with them too. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Getting the Meta speaker harnesses allow you to clip into the original clips on your car, so that way you're not having to do more wire splicing. That's always a big deal for me. I don't like having to deal with that if I don't really have to. And so that just makes it 10 times easier, because then you can just clip it in and then you're good to go. So all right, guys, that is the main review of this. I honestly don't know if I'd really recommend it. I'd only recommend it if your speakers are blown and you're just looking for something to replace those OEM speakers. That's honestly the only way I'd recommend these. I kept mine just because I already had them. I drilled holes into my doors, so I might as well keep them. But if you're just looking for something to upgrade, I honestly don't know if I'd recommend these, just because, like I said, there's not a whole lot of bass to these, but the tweeters do sound pretty good. But it really just depends on your OEM car speakers that you do have currently. I know some come with JBL, they might come with Beats, something like that. If you have any of those, don't bother with these, because your original speakers are going to sound pretty good. But if you are just looking for something to replace a busted or blown speaker, these should do the job, and you can often find these on sale. And even when they're not on sale, they're still relatively cheap. All right, guys, I'm now going to play a 45-second demo. Hopefully you guys can kind of capture and take a listen to how good these speakers are, and leave a comment down below and tell me what you think, guys. All right, thanks for watching.